Before I kick this review off, I just want to say that I've done my best to avoid spoilers for this, but there's a little bit of a question about like how the film is supposed to be presented to the audience that I'm not really clear on. So if you really want to go into this absolutely blank, don't watch this review just yet. That's right, I'm saying I don't want the views. I want you guys to go into the movie like completely blank slate, make up your own mind, and then come back, okay? So with that said, let's watch the trailer.
How high can you count?
300.
Okay, I want you to count to 600. I'll be back.
1, 2.
Malik knows the secret truth. Microscopic parasites descending to Earth in meteorites are infesting life across the planet, manipulating their hosts to nefarious ends. Armed with this knowledge, he enacts a rescue mission to retrieve his estranged kids at any cost. Playing off countless sci-fi conceits about the righteous lone man fighting back against an alien conspiracy, Encounter poses a more disturbing interpretation. What if these beliefs were delusional? How would a father react in that situation? What would he do to his family? This tense thriller from Beast director Michael Pearce offers no easy answers to that question. Malik is a very layered character, and Ahmed's performance peels back those layers one by one so that we can really see what's going on in his psychology. He's charismatic and loving enough to be the hero of his own story, but he's also got a quick anger that makes his kids wonder if maybe he's the villain. Despite its hooky premise, the film actually largely follows the structure of a character drama in much the same way that Beast did, you know, where it was basically set up like a thriller but was really about the relationship between two people. And here, instead of lovers, we have this very strong family relationship where Malik and his kids are basically just in a car on a road trip for long periods of time. And it's those empty stretches of road where the lush cinematography and really full sound design help flesh the world out. The film's look is tenebrous, which is a really fancy way of saying that it's often pooled in shadow. We see characters' faces half in the dark most of the time. And there are these really striking and clever kind of compositions where on a big empty road, for instance, you'll see headlights driving away and then slowly dwindling into the distance until they become pinpricks in an otherwise almost black screen, much like the stars that Malik is obsessed with, that he's having visions of. And the way those visions are treated is really interesting because the film actually starts with them as if they were real. We see a meteor coming into Earth's atmosphere, we see dust in the shafts of light in a forest, we see bugs covered in this dust biting each other, and then we see a man sleeping and a mosquito piercing into his bloodstream and this little parasite getting in. So we go from this really cosmic view to this skin-crawling bug stuff and then right down into the inner space before Malik wakes up. And I think that's a powerful approach in terms of taking the concept seriously because you're inviting the audience into that headspace. Now, as I said, the movie's strongest idea is playing off audience expectations with this apparent like lead protagonist type, this ex-Marine who's charismatic and fun half of the time, kind of maybe posing a danger to his kids. But interestingly, we also get an almost equal focus on the kids, particularly the eldest of the two, who is called Jay. And Jay is really very much in love with his dad. He thinks that he's the greatest guy on earth and he trusts him. And so he accepts this new worldview quickly, kind of without questioning. And a lot of the film's narrative is about the beginnings of questioning that, of thinking maybe dad's not right and is he okay? But what really surprised me was how tender that story ended up being. Instead of being a straightforward plot about two kids who are abducted and their crazy dad, like a Criminal Minds episode or something, it's a much more thoughtful and moving relationship between those two characters. That's not to say that it's perfect. In fact, there's one character who really gets short shrift, which is Octavia Spencer's bounty hunter, who kind of failed to identify Malik as a flight risk and now feels responsible for whatever's going to happen at the end of this road. If you ask me, that's an interesting storyline, and she does kind of get her own investigation plot, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and it doesn't seem to tie much into the main movie. It feels curiously curtailed, is the way that I would describe it, like it was supposed to be longer in the original script or even in the actual original edit, and was cut for time or because it distracted from that admittedly very beautiful central relationship and its portrayal. But that's pretty much my only note, so go and see Encounter. It's a richly layered, edge-of-your-seat, nail-biting thriller, as well as a really closely observed character drama about a family living on the whims of delusion. So that's it from me, but let's have a chat in the comments below. I think there's a lot of room to interpret this movie in different ways and talk about the way that it plays with tropes that often feel quite tired. I was slightly disappointed by the marketing for the movie because I think it largely portrays it as a straightforward like sci-fi action thing, and in reality it's a much more complex story. So I think it'll probably bore some people who wanted to go in for that kind of popcorn action. But I'm hoping that there is an audience that finds the film, and maybe word of mouth will help with that. I don't know. But let's chat about that in the comments below. What fruitful area for discussion. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.